everyone, I am back with story number 11, and this is going to be a story about going to the coffee shops with my daughter. We try to go to the coffee shops, maybe every other week or so. We try to find a new coffee shop or a coffee shop that we really like, and we have coffee or tea or something like that, and then usually something to eat. We typically go during about brunch time, and this was one of the times when we did go during brunch, and I wanted to journal that as part of my December daily as story number 11. So I'm using this piece of coffee dyed paper and I wanted to trim it down. There was just too much paper. I didn't need that much space because I only have one photo this time. And I'm just using my trimmer to trim it down so it's just a little bit skinnier. And I like how this looks. So that's what I'm doing right now with this trimmer. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series. And if you are, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. If you ever want to be notified of when I have a video, you can click the bell icon and it will notify you. I am still filming more December Daily stories. I have stories up to, I think I think 15, and I'm working on story 16 right now. So I'm hoping that I will continue to be able to post these videos to share with you what I am doing and how the pages came together. The one story I have not, or I did not film was story 14. I just felt like doing that kind of without having the camera on. No other reason besides that. So that's why I didn't film that one. But you'll be able to see that in the flip through. My plan is even if I don't get all the stories recorded and up individually, I do plan on doing some type of flip through at some point to share with you guys. Now I wanted to put on this strip on the edge, and I really wanted to punch out the um, edge of this with the Christmas packaging, or it doesn't have to be Christmas, just present packaging punch. And then I decided, that was going to be, oh no, I actually tried to use it and it didn't work. Like it punched and then I got all hung up on it. And then I was getting frustrated. I didn't put any of that in because that's really boring to watch. So I ended up just cutting that part of the video out. And then I end up using a different kind of punch. It's a bit of like a kind of doily edge punch. And I end up doing that instead. So once I glue this down, it will kind of, the video will kind of move to that other punch. But I did want to let you know that I did try to punch with a different punch and it just didn't work out. So the page actually ends up getting a bit shorter than what it is now because I had to trim off that excess. And I really had to fight with that punch. And again, you just didn't need to see that. So I figured I'd just tell you about it instead of show you. So now I am working here and I'm getting ready to punch, like I said, the present punch, which you see here. And like I said, it just doesn't work. So I end up ditching this idea, trimming that off, and then using a different punch. You can see here I'm fighting with it. Nope, it's not going to work. And I am to this little lace punch. And I think this looks cute. It's a little bit shorter than I wanted. I didn't want the page to be quite this short, but it's fine. It ends up working out okay. And it was just enough paper left to get this punch on and see it with the color. So it actually ended up working out perfectly as far as like the spacing. I couldn't have asked for a more perfect cut. Otherwise, if I had trimmed a little bit more off or didn't make that kind of maroonish color paper any longer, it would have the punch would have went into the cardstock that has the coffee dyed on it. So it actually ended up working just perfect. So this is a printable that I have from Rach and Bella, I believe it is. If you guys are interested in knowing the collection, just let me know and I can put that in the description below. You can just add a comment in. So I'm just trimming this down. I want it to fit on the page. I want it to butt up against the maroon border that I punched and then have a little bit of space left in the seam of the book or the inside of the book because it is getting really bulky. I don't want to add too much bulk to that seam because that will also help or also make this book bulk out more. So I did trim it just short or shy of the crease in the middle. So now I'm just using my tape runner to glue everything down. Again, adding a lot of glue because this is not in a page protector. I want to make sure the pages stay and stick for the long haul. So I'm just buttoning that up against there and gluing that all down. I really love this printable Christmas set that Rach and Bella has. It's just super cute. There's such great images on it. I love kind of like the worn rustic look of it. It's just awesome. And because I didn't go down all the way to the crease of the book, I am going to add this star, or not star, but snowflake washi tape. That's really thin, and it also just helps it from buckling on the edge and just gives a nicer edge, and then it sits nicer, but it doesn't really add any bulk because it's that thin washi. So now my picture fits in there perfectly too. Like I said, did have to trim this down more than I was expecting, but fortunately my photo still snugs and fits onto the page. So that worked out nicely for me. I'm pulling out these stickers that I've had in my stash for way too long, and I looks like I haven't used any of them yet. So now's no, no, now's now's a better time than ever to use them. So I'm going to pull those out. I thought they were blending into the background a bit, so I am going to put something underneath it just to kind of layer it up a bit so it sticks up a bit more and you can see them a bit better. And again, because I am wanting to not add too much bulk to the album, I do peel off a good chunk of this so that it's not quite as thick, but they still look dimensional, so that's nice. So then I'm playing with this doily, trying to see how I want to fit it on here. And I like how that looks a lot better. The numbers stand up a lot more or stand off the page a bit more. And the doily is just a cute accent. I always really like adding doilies. So I'm just measuring to see how much I want to cut off. And then I'll trim this with my little paper trimmer. And because I pulled off that backing of the chipboard, I'll just use some liquid glue to adhere it to the page. And I think that lace looks really nice with the lacy border edge too. It kind of mimics that same kind of style. So that worked out well as well. So just using some liquid glue. My tape runner doesn't seem to stick on these doilies very well, so the liquid glue just seemed to work a bit better. And that's just art glitter glue if you're interested in what that glue is. I really, really, really like it. I used to use a Scotch like liquid white glue and I loved it. But I really, really like this extra fine tip on this bottle and it dries super fast and I've had no issues with it. So if you have used the Scotch quick dry, I think it used to be called. I'm not sure if it's called that anymore or if they even have it anymore. If you like that, but you really want a finer tip instead of changing the bottle out, you can get the art glitter glue and put a fine tip on it, and I absolutely love it. You just need to make sure you're using a stainless steel pin in the tip so that it doesn't dry out. Don't use a non-stainless steel or it will rust in your bottle and you don't want that. So this chipboard is from, oh, I just showed the packaging, so you probably saw it already. Pinkfresh Studios, I think. And again, it was a chipboard piece that was a bit too thick, so I just peeled off that back layer to give it a little less dimension. It still has nice dimensions. That's nice, even though I did um, rip off the backing. And I really actually like the really chunky chipboard. It just takes up so much space in the album. That's the problem. So I just forgoed the thickness by ripping that up. And it's just everything works better in the album. And I don't have such a chunky mess on my hands. So I wanted to add something here. So I pulled out these, I think they're from Ellie Edwards, these strips that I got a long time ago in one of the December Daily Ellie Edwards kits. And I'm just trimming that out. The Happy Holidays fit nicely on here, and I like the black contrast. We have those dark leaves in the pattern paper, and I thought the black on this kind of went with that. And I have the darker border on the right-hand side, and I wanted something a bit darker to fit in here, not too light, and I think this is perfect. Plus, the page has a little bit of yellowy gold accents with the washi and the gold foiled kind of leaf image on that chipboard piece. And so I think that looks nice with the gold on the Happy Holidays. Just going to glue that down with some liquid adhesive as well. These are not sticky backed, so I just use the liquid adhesive. And then I do end up gluing down this chipboard piece, and I end up having to peel it up a little bit later because there's another pink piece I wanted to add. I really like the 11, the pink color, that glitter color. I think it's really pretty. And I also have some pink in those berries that are on the printable. But I felt like I needed one more spot of pink. So I do end up pulling out a little piece of scrap paper, and I was going to put it in another place on the page, but I just didn't like it, and I thought it would look better up underneath that label. So you're going to see here in a little while, I'm going to end up pulling up that label and kind of shoving the piece of paper underneath it. And of course, I'm holding it down very firmly, not realizing I'm going to pull it up later, but it ends up working out just fine. So here's that pink piece of paper. I trim the edges, so I corner punch with a 1/4-inch punch on the edges, and I like the softness it gives, and I do try to put it like 5 different places. You can see here I'm getting ready to try to pull it up, and I'm like, nope, that's not going to work. but ultimately I was like, I don't like it anyplace else, so I'm just going to force it to go underneath, and that's fine. It ends up working just fine, and I just glue everything back down. You can't even tell I pulled it up. So it just looked too separated from the background there. I felt like it needed to be part of the actual photo cluster, so that's why I ultimately end up adding it there. So you can see me trying and like, yep, no, no, yes, it's gonna work. No, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. No, maybe I'll put it on the side. Nope, that's not gonna work. And then I ultimately just pull it up. So I do trim it just a little bit because it's a little too long. So I do trim up the edge and just use my little spatula there. Trim up the edge so it's a little bit shorter so it fits under there and doesn't overlap or go past the photo. Adding a little bit of distress ink around the edges, and then I do kind of tuck it up underneath there, and I think that looks so much better than any of the other places that I would have been able to put it. Just making sure it's straight. And that worked well. So now I'm going to look through my stash and see what else I want to put in. This is the Snow and Cocoa line. And I used this in a December daily a couple years ago. I can't remember which year, but I still have it in my stash and the colors worked well. That's where that pink paper came from. And now I'm just looking to see if I can find something cute to add as an embellishment. And I do cut out this banner piece here. This, I can't remember exactly what it says, and I can't quite see it on my screen. I think it says Season of Joy, maybe? And I do add that. And I also cut out that snowman in the top left corner there with the pink background, but I end up not using that, and I actually cut up another piece that has a bird on it, and I use that instead. Just bringing that pink around. So I added that pink snowflake paper underneath the Happy Holidays, and I like it because now I have more pink, but then I thought, well, I need more of this color pink. So I decided to cut out that banner, and then I think it just helps balance the page even more than just having that pink paper on the bottom of the photo. And then, like I said, I'm going to cut out that snowman. I'm not going to use it. Looking through here to see if there's anything else I want to use. Decisions, decisions. So I hope everyone's doing well. Let me know in the comments below if you're working on your December daily or what you're working on currently. If you just want to chat, you can definitely leave a comment below. Love hearing from you guys. And like I said earlier in the video, if you're enjoying the series, if you're enjoying this page, please give me a thumbs up. It just lets me know that you guys are watching and are interested in this and want me to keep posting these videos. It just helps me out a lot. So I appreciate any love that you can give by, like I said, giving me the thumbs up, commenting, or subscribing to the channel. So now I'm going to trim out this little bear. I do use the bear. I forgot. I did use the bear on the bottom on that piece of paper, that pink piece of paper that I tucked underneath the label. I forgot I added that there. So I'm going to round the edges, or actually I'm just going to snip the corners. And I've talked about this in other videos, but for some reason this gives it such a more finished look than having the corners just kind of 90-degree angles. I have no idea why. That makes it so much more aesthetically pleasing to me, but I absolutely love it. So I've been doing that a lot in this album. So for this one, I am just gluing down. I just inked around the edges and then glued down the little bear. And now I'm going to cut out a little piece that has a little bird on it. I just wanted more of that blue color, so I pull some of that color from the bear, and then I cut out this little bird that has that same kind of blue color, and I trim it down pretty tiny, and then that's going to go up in that top right-hand corner by where I have my number. So that was curling up a little bit, so I just add a little bit of glue under there, and then I'll get my trimmer out and then trim that bird. I wanted to make sure it was straight. I really could have just used my scissors, but I was afraid I was going to cut it all wonky. I don't know why I was so worried about it this time, but I just used my trimmer and get it pretty small. I want to just fit it on the doily nicely, and it was just a bit too big, so I will trim down all sides, and then I think it fits just a little bit nicer. I didn't want it to overhang too much. So really that's about it. I will finish this up, glue that down, and then I'll show you some close-ups, and there's some pictures at the end. So if you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, leave those in the comments below, and I will be back soon, hopefully with story number 12. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.